Yesterday, March the 2nd, 2022, an article appeared in the Daily Maverick talking about the United States of America sanctioning four South African based ISIS financial facilitators. And there is a picture of a person whose face is covered, only the eyes are showed, with a headband showing the kalima in black and white, La ilaha illallah. And with a caption saying that this is Abu Huraira, thought to be the first South African jihadi in Syria, posing with an assault rifle. Now, the article talks about sanctioning four alleged Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS and ISIS Mozambique facilitators based in South Africa, allegedly linked to recruitment, robberies, kidnapping, and extortion. And one of them is KwaZulu-based, KwaZulu-Natal-based businessman. We're talking about Farhad Hoomer, and we joined on the line this morning by both Farhad Hoomer and attorney Yusuf Cassim. Firstly, we're going across Farhad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, Jazakallah for joining us. And also attorney Yusuf Cassim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to you as well.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Farhad, just to begin with, and looking at this article that appeared in the Daily Maverick, and just to understand how credible are these allegations from the USA that ISIS members in South Africa are playing an increasingly central role in facilitating the transfer of funds from the top of ISIS, from the hierarchy to branches across Africa?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That question you asked in the wrong person. You actually need to ask that question to the US, who put out the statement that people from South Africa are funding the Islamic State. Where they got this information from, Allah knows best. We actually, myself and my legal team, Yusuf Cassim will put some light on it. We're actually going to investigate, and we actually want to sue the United States for wrong information and basically bad-mouthing me. I don't know who the other brothers are they're talking about. There's a Mulana that mentioned, the Siraj from Cape Town. We know him because of a masjid that he built. And the other guys, we don't know who they are. So we actually should ask them that question.
Well, certainly, okay, Farhad. But also, I think just to bring Yusuf into the discussion. Now, clearly, Yusuf, these are some very, very serious allegations that have been made against Farhad. And also at the same time, talking about recruitment, talking about training ISIS cell members in the DRC and South Africa, and the whole question surrounding money as well in terms of raising funds, in terms of facilitating the transfer of funds, talking about extortion, talking about kidnapping. And I'm sure as an attorney, you would view this article in a very, very serious light.
No, of course, and look, it affects our client drastically in terms of his ability to do business, and especially on the travel ban, to travel overseas for work, etc. I think generally on all the financial transactions, right? Obviously, we deny having knowledge of any of it. And I think they need to provide proof of the actual transactions. We've never ever seen, even throughout the criminal matter, we've never ever seen any actual proof of those transactions. And we believe that they have been investigating with all the financial spheres of government for a long time now. And they've basically come up with nothing. So we are very interested to see what particular financial transactions they allege we partook in and we were involved in terms of ISIS funding, etc.
Well, certainly. And also, I think, Farhad, the allegations against you is, you are the leader of the gang, and that your home was actually used as a training facility for ISIS-inspired acts of violence.
SubhanAllah. We went to trial in 2018, I think it was. And it's actually almost 4 years now they're investigating me. And they charged me for, I think, 26 charges were put on me. And they couldn't prove one of it. I mean, in our affidavit, we stay and record. We clearly said, I was buying and selling properties. We had over 100 properties for investors at the time. And properties were all rented out. I mean, as a landlord, people that do properties, you cannot go and check all your properties, who's been wanting the properties. And we've given our affidavit, we've given the lease that who was renting the property. I mean, they didn't arrest the people that were in the property. They came after me. I don't understand. It didn't make sense.
Yes, certainly, Farhad. And also, Yusuf, I think the fact of the matter is these are allegations, but they appear in a major mainstream publication like the Daily Maverick. And
Yes.
the point I had made earlier on is not only are these allegations, but then you have a picture of someone by the name of Abu Huraira posing as the first South African jihadi in Syria, assault rifles. Now, obviously, this says a lot with regards to media and media reporting on these matters based on allegations.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Look, it's a pity the criminal trial never got that far where we actually seen details of the docket, because normally when it's ready for trial, one would see exactly what evidence the state has, and we would have had sight of all the affidavits and evidence, etc. But because the matter was struck off before then, we never got to see exactly what evidence they had. And I mean, obviously, if they had the evidence, the matter would have proceeded. So it's all allegations coming from the SA side. Obviously, they fed their US counterparts information, etc., which they knew hadn't been tested or proven in court. And the US, who obviously is a law unto themselves, have taken this draconian measure to just simply, apply these sanctions, etc. But look, I mean, obviously, the financial sanctions is one thing. We don't really have any assets or investments in the US, but how it will or has been affecting him is the travel ban. The fact that he cannot travel to most countries because he's red listed. He's sort of cited as a sort of threat to a lot of countries. And that's something that we ultimately will definitely be challenging, because if a person hasn't been found guilty of any offense, how then, or what justifies him being red listed like that?
Certainly. And also, Farhad, the other key issue that one needs to take into account is there are other names that are being mentioned. And as you mentioned, that you are not aware of these people, you don't know these people, but also looking at some of the other countries that are that they speak about. They speak about Mozambique, they speak about the DRC. And we know that Mozambique has been under the radar for a long time now, particularly the north, the Cabo Delgado region, with regard to what is taking place there, all the problems, and again, I'm not too sure whether it has been proven with regard to ISIS and the involvement, but it is just so easy to actually come up with all these theories while a lot of this is playing out in the background.
To make an accusation on someone to, we call it Jiva, bad mouthing someone is very easy. The problem is they need to come with proof now. And I spoke to our legal team, and we need to see how we can take them on, where we're going to force them to prove what they said. And if they fail to prove what they said, we are going to sue the United States, and they have to pay, because they they damaged my business in every way now. I cannot travel, I cannot do business. I mean, even locally. I mean, this thing came out on Monday night, I think it came out. And today is Thursday. And I've got over 100 messages. People don't want to do business with me anymore. I mean, 4 days, no one wants to do business with me anymore, thinking that this is true. They believe that this lie is true.
Yes, and also at the same time, Farhad, this whole question surrounding what had taken place in Verulam as well, because that also features in this article with regard to the attack at the Verulam Mosque.
I mean, if they had any proof, I told you there was 26 charges put on me, and if they had any proof of any of it, I mean, why didn't they come? It's 4 years now. It's 4 years later. They couldn't prove one of the allegations that they put on me. So I don't understand what the state is up to. And now the United States gets involved, which is even more worse, because the United States are just a big bunch of bullies. They go around bullying everyone, threatening the world. I mean, now when it comes time to put their money where their mouth is, when Russia invades Ukraine, they don't even send one soldier to go and defend the allies. I mean, for 50, 60 years, they're lying to the world that they will defend their allies. Now, when the push comes to shove, they can't even defend their allies. They just come out. They are a bunch of liars.
Yusuf, just legally looking at some of the options now, you mentioned that you haven't seen the docket yet as well. What options are you considering?
So look, currently we do have a lawsuit against the state for the criminal matter, for the damages that Farhad together with 10 other plaintiffs have suffered. So that's currently ongoing. There is another application we've got in the Durban High Court for return of the assets stemming from the criminal matter, because after the matter was struck off, since that time, well, actually since inception, they had taken possession of a lot of our assets, including electronic devices, etc., and they've been refusing to hand that over. And we then brought an application in the High Court, and that's pending. Also, with regard to this travel ban specifically, we definitely will be taking the South African government to task. They need to explain how did the listing even happen, on what basis, and also compelling them to remove those listings. Because I think it was a ploy by the state to do that to him, to hinder his movements and to kind of punish him, especially after the matter was struck off from the roll, So they decided to obviously take those measures, which are clearly unlawful. It's against our constitution. So we will definitely be taking that up.
Also, Yusuf, will you be engaging with the likes of the Daily Maverick? Because this is where this article is surfaced.
Look, I know there have been some media houses that have been contacting Farhad directly as of yesterday, and I think he's responded to some of them. So, yes, of course, we will actually look at that and see if we can put in some sort of response to just state our version of matters.
Well, Yusuf, Jazakallah khairan so much for that. And also to you, Farhad, for coming on, talking to us this morning here on News and Views on Salam Media. We thank both of you for your time. We wish you all the best, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Can I just come in on one point before we close?
No problem. Continue, Yusuf.
Okay, just a short point. Look, I mean, I think this does affect every Muslim in this country. I say this because if we allow the US government to meddle in our internal affairs like this, together with assistance from the SA authorities, then what's stopping the US from taking other unlawful steps against any Muslim citizen of this country, such as freezing local bank accounts, even picking up a person in the middle of the night and deporting them to the US or even Guantanamo Bay? So what may slowly happen is that if they are unhappy with a particular Islamic scholar who's preaching, from the pulpit, or for example, a Sharia law advocate, they may mark him as a radical or terrorist and, attempt to ban him or traveling or from traveling or freezing his assets. So my point is that we have one of the strongest constitutions in the world. We have to challenge these types of actions by the state, else they'll slowly chip away at our rights. So I think it's something important, and it affects all Muslims, because tomorrow what's stopping them from doing other sort of unlawful steps or measures against other Muslim citizens?
Yes, I think you raise a very, very important point here, and this is something that we need to guard against, Yusuf, because, as you mentioned, this is a case of Farhad Hoomer now, but we've seen in the past also, we've seen the case of Tutsi twins as well, where there has been talk of external interference or external involvement as far as the Tutsi twins was concerned as well. So, this is something that we need to be wary of. We need to be on our guard, because it's happened in other parts around the world, and it could easily happen here in South Africa.
Absolutely. That's what we got to safeguard, you see.
Jazakallah for that and pointing that out as well, Yusuf. But for now, to both you and to Farhad, we thank you. We say Jazakallah for your time with us this morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah for having us.
Farhad Hoomer and attorney Yusuf Cassim with us this morning against the background of this article that we have been discussing that appeared in the Daily Maverick, talking about the United States of America sanctioning 4 South African-based, what they called ISIS financial facilitators. And this is quite serious as far as this article is concerned, talking about ISIS-based facilitators in South Africa, in Mozambique, and strong allegations serious allegations where they are talking about they have been allegedly linked to recruitment, robberies, kidnapping, and extortion. And one of them who has suffered the consequences has been Farhad Hoomer. The time is just gone 9:33 a.m. We come back. We're going to be talking about Sheikh Jarrah out in Jerusalem.